It's America's only live cooking show, the Snyder Diamond Cooking Show. Leo Quinones here. I am not a chef, but I am with one of the greats, Chef Eric Greenspan, and we are about to get into the Latkes right now, baby.
Let's get down to business.
Okay, here we go.
Now, we're going to take the first Latkes that I'm going to make are going to be the potato Latkes that you just saw us mixing up. Okay, that's what we just talked about. So at the end of the day, and you can form them to whatever size you want to form them to. I take a large spoonful.
Okay. Going in right now.
And then I flatten them down. Now, do they need to be perfectly round? No.
You mean there's no Latka police?
You know, it's rusticity that you're looking for.
Oh, good word.
Thank you, sir. I actually learned that on the way over here.
Okay.
Right after I learned what foundry meant.
So it's about halfway up on the grapeseed oil.
So what's going to happen is you're pan frying. So we're not deep frying. It's not completely submerged in oil. It's about halfway submerged. So you're going to cook it on one side first, flip, cook the other side. Hopefully get a beautiful golden brown both times.
This is a good
But if you only get golden brown one time, serve that side up.
Okay. Yeah. So a good thing to do is just let it do its thing, right?
Yeah, let it do its thing. You know, everyone, you want to make sure it's not sticking on the bottom.
Okay.
Like this one is. See, there you go.
And that is not a nonstick. This is as rustic as you get for cookware.
I believe the term was rusticity.
It's a new word. I'm trying to absorb it.
Now,
rusticity.
I've got two other mixes.
Okay, so let's talk about.
So this is our celery root and red onion one.
Okay.
So I made this the same way, but instead of potatoes and white onions, it's celery root and red onions.
And a lot of people are not familiar with celery root, Chef. What would you say?
It really should be.
Yeah.
It's a delicious root vegetable. It's like a potato. It's a potato, and if potato and celery had a love child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've read about.
That's sexy.
Yeah.
And so just put that in place of a potato in a lot of different recipes, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So there you go.
So we're going to do that one right there.
And where do you get your freshest stuff? Are you into the farmer's market, Chef?
Always.
Why is that?
And the good, why? Because that's where you're going to get the best ingredients in town from local farmers, and also enticing ingredients where you're going to find things that you wouldn't normally always find. You know, like it's not just a potato. You get a wiser, and you can get little fingerling potatoes or little marble potatoes. You know, that little all sorts of different kinds to kind of play with things. Like I said, anything you do with an apple, you can do with a pear. So you play with all sorts of different potatoes too. You don't just find that one standard russet potato that you find at a supermarket.
Right. Well, okay, we're going for the flip here. The first
now,
lot.
The flip is key.
Why?
You got to pull it out because you want to make sure that you don't splatter yourself.
Splatter away. Okay.
Yeah, so flip it away from yourself and flip it slowly. You have 8 days. Okay. So while that one's cooking too, I've got one more here. This is the one that we started with when we first opened at the foundry. It just got written up in the Wall Street Journal last Saturday. This is our beet and carrot latkes. Look at the color on that.
Okay, the beets sometimes get a bad rap. I want you to defend it right now.
Yeah. Beets are I mean, come on. It's earthy. It's sweet. It's pretty looking. You know, earthy, sweet, and pretty. I mean, that's like, that's
it has a little.
There's
a little rusticity in it.
There's a hint of rusticity. Is there not?
Just a hair. All right.
So that's carrots and beets in place of the potato, and then we put a little bit of onion in that as well.
And it doesn't matter about the oil, using the same oil?
Doesn't really matter at the end of the day, no.
Okay, right on. Well, they're looking great, absolutely. Going for the second flip, and he's holding the cold side, flipping it over nice and easy. And I guess the mistake I would try to make is I would try to flip this too soon.
Yeah, and you know what the thing that you're lucky about is that because we're at that temperature where it's really slowly frying, if you happen to flip it too soon, flip it back.
Okay.
Not a big deal. Okay. You know, sometimes people are like, oh my God, I flipped it too soon. It's like, oh yeah, well then just go ahead and flip it back, and then you're good. You know, sometimes people overthink cooking, that it's really not that challenging, and yet you put it on a pedestal like, oh God! And if you take that out and go like, all right, what did I do wrong? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and back up a little bit, and you're good.
Okay, so you're talking about a raw potato here, so you got to get that middle cooked here, so it's just...
Absolutely, which is why you'll notice it's a slow fry process. I mean, this is going to take, all the way through, about 5, 6, 7 minutes to cook all the way through. You know what? I like to consider myself the token Jew chef of Los Angeles. And in doing that, I like to wave the flag of Jewish cuisine sometimes, which is a hearty flag to wave.
If you're just tuning in, Chef Eric. Sheriff. Because I think I'm in
the True Grit plan.
I think I'm in the Old West when I look at this thing. It's over like an open wolf fire.
Y'all take care now, you hear?
You know, because I just saw True Grit with Jeff Bridges.
I know. That's what you said.
And it was
good, right?
It's like the heart and soul of a Western, but that's another show.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep it going right here.
So now I'm going to take this potato latke out because look, you notice how it's golden brown on both sides.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what you're looking for.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is I'm going to take it out. Now, 2 ways after you're done taking these off. You can either put them on paper towel, like so. Mm-hmm. What I like to do, actually, though, is to put them on one of these grills. You put them on these grills so that both sides are lifted up from the bottom, so the bottom doesn't steam, and that'll keep the whole thing crispy. Does that make sense?
That's a great texture.
Now, also, anytime you pull something out of a fryer, you got to season it again. It's taking on so much fat. Fat coats your tongue. So you need something like salt or acid, like a lemon juice, to cut through that fat so that you can taste it again.
Excellent. Okay.
I know all about cutting through fat.
And you better do it while it's hot, too, correct?
Yes, it helps. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, well, you don't want to trust a skinny chef.
No.
Absolutely not. And I'm telling you, I can see by the way you're working this, chef, that it is kind of they're very delicate.
Well, they're delicate to start. Once you've gotten the pan up to the right temperature and things start rolling, usually the hardest batch is your first batch.
Okay.
After a while, it gets better.
What's the worst injury you've sustained as a chef?
As a Latketeer?
Yes.
That's actually the term, Latketeer. You get a little funny hat. It's like a yarmulke with mouse ears. I made that up. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Obviously, the worst is probably this right here. Do you see that little scar tissue on my palm of my hand?
I don't see anything.
Yeah, I'm lying. No, I've got a duck fat burn from a hot pan like this that you pulled out and splashed it on my hand. I've burned this palm like 3 times in the same place with oil, and now I don't feel anything over there.
Oh boy! And is that in the middle of service?
Always.
Always.
Yeah, which is why from the dining room you hear this. Oh, it's live.
Right. But you got to play with pain too, right?
You got to fight through it.
Wow.
Yeah, people. You can't go to the table and go, I'm sorry, the cook burned his hand real terribly, so your food's going to be about another 15 minutes. Be like, this is bull.
I was at Susan Feniger's restaurant. I was at the Border Grill, and somebody you used to work with, and she told us, and I don't remember the server's name, but she goes, I used to just sit there and watch Eric Greenspan cook. So are you kind of like a... And I want to say this as a complimentary term. Are you kind of like a Benihana's kind of guy in there with your precise? I can't win. I'm trying to word it right. I'm trying to get it right.
No, I mean, look. Cooking's fun for me, and my whole kitchen is kind of like a pirate crew, and we like to have a lot of fun while we're cooking.
So what's the tone? A pirate tone? No. What's the tone that you like to set in your kitchen?
Well, I like to keep it. I like to keep it serious, but loose.
Okay.
We're very. I always say that the Foundry on Melrose, we're serious about our food, and that's about it. And all the rest of it's a lot of fun. But I've set the kitchen up in such a way so it's designed. It's an open kitchen with a low counter. A chef's job is to kind of oversee the kitchen, taste everything, help plate, help expedite. Now, in my kitchen, it's so small for the kind of food that we do at the Foundry that there's really no room for me on that side. So on a busy night, on the early weeks, I'm in the kitchen cooking. On a busy night, I'm on the other side, plating, tasting, and expediting service, but also allows me to kind of interact with the guests.
Right.
So we've got this whole section right behind the kitchen called the chef's dining room, where you kind of sit and watch us cook the whole way.
That's the best.
Some people love it, and some people don't.
It's very Tony Soprano.
They wrote an article about it in the LA Times. They called it a hurricane at your table.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why.
The chef's table. Get in there. It's the Foundry on Melrose.com. 323-651-0915.
And we are
and we have Latkes coming out. How do these look, everybody? Pretty amazing? Yes. Look at that little seasoning. Can't be afraid of the salt, my man, right?
No, never be afraid of the salt. No. Until it kills you. But until then, don't be afraid of it.
It's so important, and a lot of people, the depth of flavor.
It really does. And the most interesting thing about it is that you really don't realize what you're missing until you really, really do learn how to season. I used to teach in a culinary school. And I would show people, like, they would eat stuff, and they would cook it, and they'd be like, that's seasoned, right, chef? And you'd taste it, and you'd be like, no, it's still bland. And then you'd add a little bit more salt and have them taste it again until it was properly seasoned. Like, and seasoning really needs to be learned. It's like that's bland, that's not. It's different for everybody. But also, you kind of really need to know where you can take it to. Where are you getting depth of flavor, and then where are you just being salty?
When you go out to eat and it's not to your standards, does that you can't have a patience for that.
I mean, looking at me, you can tell I'm not very discriminating about what I eat. So I mean, let's be fair. And the reality of it is, when I go out to eat, everybody cooks differently, and I don't expect places to cook like I cook. I go to a place and I want to get what I expect. So if I'm going to a burger joint, as long as it's a good burger, I'm stoked. Don't tell me, I would rather have a good burger than someone tell me they're going to cook me the best New York steak and then blow it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not about critical. It's about I'm a big fan of talking the talk and walking the walk. So you got to do what you tell me you're going to do, and I'll be pumped.
Modern American cooking. This guy right here. Well, we got to go to a break, and then we're going to have some latkes. We're going to plate them up, and it's just amazing having you here. And by the way, you're going to be going straight to the foundry.
Yeah, straight there from here. Yeah.
He's in service tonight.
We open at 6. So
okay.
Anybody in the LA area listening right now, you got about 20 minutes, I'll race you.
Get on down.
But we do serve food. The good thing about the foundry, we serve food till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God!
So we got a whole late night menu with live entertainment too. So y'all got time. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you know what? That's the cure for any hangover.
Yeah.
A little late night. Get some
Get a grilled cheese sandwich and a martini. You're
better than a lot of things. All right, here we go. 323-651-0915. The on Melrose.com. We'll be right back with Chef Eric Greenspan. And right now, a word from our amazing sponsor, Snyder Diamond. We'll be right back, you guys.
KABC.